Alright, this begins part 2. I'm here a couple of nights later, or evenings later. And as you can see, all the bees are on the outside of this hive. It looks pretty much like they're oriented to this. And I'm not suited up yet or anything, but I saw a couple of bees flying in here. But I'm going to go in there and do a thorough inspection to make sure they're not clumped up somewhere in there still. But it looks like they're pretty much out of there, except for a few curious ones. And what I'm going to do is just get a roof and invert it, and just these hives, these boxes don't have a bottom board proper, so I'm just going to set it down inside a roof that's turned upside down. And if I can't smoke them in thoroughly, I'm going to put a big plastic drop cloth around them and kind of tie it up at the top, and just put them in my van, and then take them home and open them up real quick. You know, that's a nuclear option I have sometimes when hives, or the bees, I can't get them in all the way in the evening, or if they have 100 different openings. But everything will be fine. Some of you may be wondering why I took these hives out of here, and had to reorient the bees out here instead of just working with the situation in here. Well, so he hasn't been able to come in here and fix this place up or do whatever, because these bees have been living in here. So look at this floor. It's just dangerous, I had to put this plank up here to walk on. There's no room to do anything right here, seal things up or inspect them. So I brought them out there the other day, as y'all saw, and pared it down to 3 boxes. Look at all this stuff that came out of one of the bottom supers. And, there was wax moth larvae in there and all kinds of detritus. See, what's this kind of stuff going on? I just saw this. What are they on here for? This cork, or what the heck is all that going on? Anyway, I see what I had to deal with this. Or just, they're not fully well, they're not inside the hive. They're kind of hanging out. So, I may have to use the nuclear option on this and just wrap them in plastic. But we'll see. I don't know what's going on inside this hive. I haven't looked in these boxes, and I'm not going to do that yet until I get them home. So, anyway, that's my comments on why I moved everything out here. Alright, let me put the roof on the bottom of this that I have in the van. That'll be their floor. Alright, so I have the plastic wrap underneath it in case I need to use it. Not sure yet. But what I did is I smoked all the bees off the side of the hive, and I think they were gathered on the outside because it was so hot today. And now they're airborne and orienting to these entrances right here. But by the way, when I lifted this hive up, and I killed hundreds of hive beetles that they had corralled on the bottom. You see all these hive beetles? There's one right there. So I'm not real happy about having to bring these bees home to my bee yard and have to deal with a hive beetle massacre in my yard. But I'm just gonna have to be ready and do it. And I just don't like that kind of stuff spreading, But such is life. But as you can see, this hive looks a lot more manageable than when I first got here. And I'm probably going to have to smoke them again off the top and all that. But they'll calm down, especially when it starts getting darker. And I'll either just put screening or whatever around those places they're getting in and out if I can get them all in. And if I can't get them under control, then I'll just use the plastic. Alright, it's getting more towards nightfall, and they're much more under control right at those entrances. And nightfall will bring it even more under control, especially if I coax them in with smoke. But as you see, I have screening ready to go and staple gun if I can get them all in. And I'll staple that screening over those entrances, and I think those are the only two entrances in this whole hive, if I'm not mistaken. And I may not even have to use this plastic. And some of you may be going, why are you using plastic instead of sheets? Won't they suffocate? Or, well, no. Plus, I didn't make it to Bed Bath & Beyond on the way over here, and I'm not using any existing sheets from home because I got to answer to my wife. So plastic it is. I opted for the nuclear option. They just weren't cooperating enough tonight, and I don't want them flying around my minivan. I don't have a truck. That's just the way life is right now. So, and I taped with Gorilla Tape that roof to the bottom of the hive, because if I have to pick it up, I sure don't want that thing falling off the bottom. So, alright, I'm about to load it up and take it home. Alright, I have these bees home now, and they're settling in fine in my backyard. Last night they were a little bit mad, of course, when I was trying to load this, all three of these mediums that are stuck together into my van at one time, with the plastic around them and all that, but I got it done. But I opened the lid on it for the first time right now, and look at all this, you know, wax moth larvae from who knows how long ago, all in here. But the bees, of course, have propolised it and have it under control. You know, it's of no consequence to them right now. So let me see how far deep I can get into this inspection today. That's the part that was on the inside. If this roof was inverted like that on the top, but it was all propolised down. I've scraped a good majority of the wax moth larvae off the top of these frames and all the propolis. But you know what? I think that's mostly honey up there that's kind of cross-combed. If you can see down in there, it's just kind of a mess. And to get these ends undone would be a nightmare, so I'm just gonna leave it alone. They can use it as a honey super for their own food purposes for eternity, for all I care. I just don't care to go into that. I'm sure they are keeping it clean in there as far as you know, as far as hive beetles and wax moths internally. There's just no need to dig in there, in my opinion. It's just not worth the time and trouble. They'll be okay, but I'm going to go ahead and pop this one and then look underneath in the bottom two supers to see what's going on, just to make sure there's no hive beetle time bombs or something like that. So I opened up the top super from the middle one, and man, it looks like a mess that I'm really not prepared to deal with right now. So what I'm going to do is close it back up, and I'm probably just going to add a super on top to start clean, and just leave all this as the core for them to build into cleaner supers. I may even put one on the bottom for them that has empty frames and let them build down and up. But this is staying like it is. I'm not going to touch it. There's just no way. Not today, not today. Did is I added a deep on the bottom and a medium on the top so they can expand. I have no clue what's going on with the queen in the middle and all that, but I'll soon find out if they start expanding and she's laying in those other areas, but I'm not pulling this hive apart today. Also, in my Langstroth inexperience, I noticed that these are actually shallows. All these boxes I picked up, not mediums, so what I added to the top was medium that I have frames for. I have no shallow frames. So anyway, I'll keep an eye on these bottom and top supers and make sure they're building straight, and I may even transfer comb from other hives just to give them templates and motivation to build on. But that's all I'm doing today on this. Alright, one more thing I did is I took from that medium right there a frame that had comb, eggs, larvae, real young larvae, and placed them in this super right here, this medium. So, of course, I didn't go all the way in and check their queen status and all that kind of stuff, but if they do need to raise a queen, they now have the supplies and they have motivation and straight comb up above to start building.